Welcome to RF Coins. Today we are diving deep into the story of the 1981 D. Lincoln penny. At first glance, this coin might look like just another cent, but what if I told you that some of these pennies have sold for jaw-dropping amounts, even reaching an unbelievable value of $222,674? That's right, a simple 1-cent piece turning into a fortune. So stay with me as we explore its history, rarity, and the current market value that makes collectors go wild. Part, the Lincoln penny. Legacy. Why the Lincoln penny has a long and proud legacy in American coinage. First introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it became the first circulating coin in the United States to feature a real person instead of symbolic imagery. By 1981, the Lincoln penny had already been in circulation for over 70 years, standing as a proud symbol of history, tradition, and the American story. Every penny carries a piece of that legacy. Part, the year 1981 INHISTRY. Before we zoom into the coin itself, let's take a step back into the year 1981. It was a year full of change and excitement in the United States. Ronald Reagan had just been inaugurated as the 40th president. Technology was booming, with the IBM personal computer introduced to the world. MTV launched and began shaping pop culture forever. While all this was happening, the U.S. Mint was busy striking millions of coins, including the now legendary 1981 D. Lincoln cent. Part, the Denver Mint Mark D. The 1981 penny we are talking about today comes with a small but very significant mark under the year, the letter D. That stands for the Denver Mint, located in Colorado. This mint is known for producing billions of coins every year, but the 1981 D penny is one of the last coins struck before a major transformation in U.S. coinage materials. That gives it special historical importance. Part, the transitional era. Why is the 1981 penny so special? Because it was one of the final years the U.S. Mint used primarily copper to produce pennies. Up until 1982, Lincoln cents were made from 95% copper and 5% zinc. But after mid-1982, the mint switched to mostly zinc with a thin copper coating, because copper had become too expensive. That makes the 1981 D penny one of the last true copper pennies. Collectors love these transitional era coins because they mark the end of an era. Part, design elements. On the front of the coin, we see the familiar bust of President Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. Above his head are the words, "In God We Trust," while to the left we see the word, "Liberty." The year 1981 appears on the right, with the small D mint mark right below it. On the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial dominates the design, with the words, "United States of America," and "E pluribus unum" inscribed above, and "1 cent" boldly at the bottom. Simple, powerful, and instantly recognizable. Part, how many were minted? Now let's talk numbers. In 1981, the Denver Mint struck over 5.3 billion Lincoln cents. Yes, billions. With numbers like that, you might think there's nothing rare about this coin. But here's the secret: not every penny is created equal. Within those billions of coins are varieties, errors, and condition differences that can make some examples worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Part, varieties and errors. Collectors are always searching for errors and rare varieties, and the 1981 D. Lincoln penny is no exception. Some coins show doubling on the letters, known as a double die. Others have weak strikes, off-center strikes, or even planchet errors where the coin wasn't properly formed. These mistakes by the mint, while rare, can dramatically increase a coin's value. If you find a perfect example with an error, you may be holding a true treasure. Part, condition matters. Even without errors, condition is king in coin collecting. Most 1981 D pennies have been circulated heavily and show plenty of wear. But a coin that has survived in pristine condition, with sharp details and glowing luster, can be worth a small fortune. The grading scale used by professionals runs from poor to mint state, with MS 70 being a flawless coin. Finding a 1981 D penny in mint state condition, especially graded MS 67 or higher, is extremely rare and valuable. Part, the record SALE. Now let's talk about the jaw-dropping figure everyone wants to know: $222,674. Yes, that is the kind of money collectors have been willing to pay for the finest examples of the 1981 D penny. A simple 1-cent piece turning into a life-changing treasure. It shows just how much passion and competition exists in the world of rare coins. Part, why collectors love it. Collectors chase this coin because of its unique place in history. It represents the last full copper cents, it comes from a year of great cultural change in America, and it carries the proud legacy of Abraham Lincoln. On top of that, when preserved in gem condition or found with rare errors, it becomes a scarce and desirable masterpiece. Every coin tells a story, and this one tells a story of transition, rarity, and hidden value. Part, current market value. So what about today's market value? Most circulated 1981 D pennies are still only worth a cent. But higher grade coins can bring in serious money. A coin graded MS-65 might fetch anywhere from $50 to a few $100s. An MS-67 can jump into the thousands. And the very finest, rarest examples with perfect condition or unique errors can reach that unbelievable figure of over $222,000. The coin market is alive, thriving, and collectors are always ready to pay for quality. Part, how to check your PNNY. If you have a 1981 D penny, the first thing you should do is examine it carefully. Look for sharp details, full luster, and any unusual marks. A magnifying glass or coin loop can help spot errors like doubling. If you believe your coin is special, consider having it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade can skyrocket its value and give you proof of authenticity in the collector's market. Part, the excitement of coin hunting. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting. You never know what treasures might be hiding in an old jar of change, a forgotten drawer, or even in your pocket right now. The thrill of finding a coin like the 1981 D penny in stunning condition is what drives collectors and treasure hunters every day. It's not just about money, it's about history, discovery, and the joy of holding a piece of the past. Part, conclusion and sign off. So there you have it, the fascinating story of the 1981 D Lincoln penny, a coin that might seem ordinary but can be worth a fortune. From its copper composition to its rare errors, from billions minted to a handful worth over $222,000, this penny is a reminder that history and treasure often hide in plain sight. Keep checking your coins, because you never know when you might stumble across the next big discovery. Thank you for watching RF Coins, where every coin has a story and every story can be worth a lot of money. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video to join our growing community of coin enthusiasts. Until next time, keep hunting, keep collecting, and maybe you'll be the next person to turn a penny into a fortune. Today, we are diving deep into the story of the 1984 Lincoln penny, one of the most fascinating coins in United States history. At first glance, it looks like just another cent, but collectors know that certain 1984 pennies are worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars, with some auction prices soaring up to $222,673. Yes, you heard it right, a single cent from 1984 could be worth a fortune. Stay with us until the end because we are going to uncover every detail, from its origins to its current market value, and even the rare varieties you should be searching for in your change. Part, the legacy of the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation since 1909, honoring President Abraham Lincoln on the centennial of his birth. By 1984, this coin was already deeply rooted in American culture. The obverse side proudly carried the bust of Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse displayed the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959. The 1984 penny belongs to this classic memorial reverse era, a period that ran from 1959 all the way until 2008. Part, the composition of the 1984 penny. One of the important details about the 1984 cent is its metal composition. Before 1982, Lincoln cents were mostly copper. But starting in late 1982, the U.S. Mint shifted to a copper-plated zinc composition. This means the 1984 penny is made of 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating. While this change was done to cut costs, it also introduced many quality issues, such as weak strikes, plating bubbles, and peeling, all of which affect collectors' interest and value. Part: mints that struck the 1984 penny. The 1984 penny was minted in three main locations: Philadelphia Mint, with no mint mark; Denver Mint, marked with a small D. San Francisco Mint, which produced proof coins marked with an S. Each of these has its own value range, rarity, and special varieties. Part: circulation. Numbers. The mintage numbers for 1984 were massive. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 8 billion pennies, Denver minted nearly 6 billion, and San Francisco struck proof coins in smaller quantities. With such huge numbers, most 1984 pennies are still very common, but it is the rare errors and high-grade examples that transform these coins from pocket change into treasures worth thousands. Part: the 1984 double-ear error. One of the most famous and desirable varieties of the 1984 penny is the double die obverse, commonly known as the double-ear penny. On this coin, you can clearly see doubling around Lincoln's ear, giving the appearance of two ears. This rare mistake has made the 1984 penny legendary among collectors. Examples of this variety in high condition can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. Part: condition matters. As with all coins, the value of a 1984 penny depends heavily on its condition. A coin found in pocket change with scratches and wear may only be worth face value, but a coin graded mint state by professional services can jump into the hundreds. In pristine conditions, especially those graded MS67 or higher, the price skyrockets. Part: proof coins. Proof versions of the 1984 penny, struck at the San Francisco Mint, were made with extraordinary care. These coins were not meant for circulation but for collectors. Deep cameo proofs with no imperfections are highly sought after and can sell for significantly more than regular strikes. Part: auction records. Some 1984 Lincoln pennies have achieved jaw-dropping prices at auctions. A double-ear variety in near-perfect condition has sold for thousands of dollars. The highest prices for the 1984 penny can go well above $200,000, with collectors paying a premium for rarity combined with immaculate condition. Part: current market value. So, what is the current market value today? Ordinary circulated 1984 pennies are usually worth 1 cent. However, mint state coins can range anywhere from $5 to $100 depending on grade. The double-ear variety can command anywhere from $250 to several thousand, and in extraordinary cases, the value has reached the massive number of $222,673. Part: what collectors look for. Collectors specifically look for strong strikes, clean surfaces, and error varieties. The double die obverse is the superstar, but plating issues, off-center strikes, and clipped planchets from 1984 are also collectible. Any unusual feature can turn a regular penny into a high-value coin. Part: how to spot the rare variety. If you want to check your 1984 penny, start with Lincoln's ear. Look closely with a magnifying glass for doubling around the earlobe. If you spot it, you may be holding a coin worth hundreds or more. Also check for unusual minting flaws or proof-like qualities. Part: why the 1984 penny is special. The 1984 penny represents more than just a piece of currency. It is part of a historical shift from copper to zinc, a reminder of economic changes in the United States, and a showcase of how minting technology sometimes produced rare errors that collectors chase decades later. Part: advice for collectors. If you come across a 1984 penny in your change, don't just toss it aside. Examine it carefully. Keep it safe if you notice any unusual features. Consider having it graded by a professional coin grading service, as certification adds credibility and can greatly increase the selling price. Part: conclusion and call to action. So there you have it. The 1984 Lincoln penny might look ordinary, but hidden among billions are rare treasures worth a fortune. Some have sold for over $200,000, and many are still waiting to be discovered in circulation, coin jars, or old collections. This is why coin collecting is so exciting, because history, rarity, and value can come together in the palm of your hand. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1984 Lincoln penny, make sure to subscribe to RF Coins for more fascinating stories, values, and secrets of the coin world. Turn on the notifications so you never miss a chance to discover hidden wealth in your pocket change. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins from the United States Mint, the 1985 Lincoln penny. At first glance, this 1-cent coin might look like ordinary pocket change, but behind its copper shine lies a rich history, hidden secrets, and an unbelievable market value that has shocked collectors worldwide. Some rare versions of this penny have sold for as much as $222,675. Stay with us until the very end, because every detail about this coin matters. Part the background of the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation since 1909, created to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical person instead of a symbolic image. Over the decades, the design went through changes, but the portrait of Lincoln remained on the obverse, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. By 1985, the Lincoln cent had already seen over 75 years of circulation. Part, the year 1985 in U.S. coinage. The year 1985 was a period of transition for America. The country was seeing new economic challenges, technology was advancing, and the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins for everyday transactions. Yet, among the billions of pennies struck in 1985, certain errors, conditions, and mint variations would make specific coins extraordinarily rare and incredibly valuable. Part, composition of the 1985 penny. One of the most interesting details about the 1985 Lincoln cent is its composition. Earlier pennies, from 1909 to 1982, were primarily made of 95% copper. But due to rising metal costs, the mint switched in 1982 to a copper-plated zinc planchet, which continued through 1985. This means the penny is mostly zinc with just a thin copper coating. While this might not seem exciting, it actually plays a huge role in the rarity of certain error coins, because plating mistakes often created unique variations that collectors chase today. Part, the mints that produced the 1985 penny. The 1985 Lincoln penny was minted at two major locations, Philadelphia and Denver. Philadelphia struck coins without a mint mark, while Denver used the D mint mark. Both mints produced massive numbers, but it is not just about how many were made. It is about how many survived in pristine, uncirculated condition, and how many contain rare minting errors that make them worth a fortune today. Part, ordinary value versus extraordinary value. On the surface, most 1985 pennies are still worth 1 cent if found in your pocket. Even circulated ones may only fetch a few cents to $1 to collectors. But the real shock comes when we look at high-grade uncirculated pennies and rare minting error varieties. Certain flawless examples graded MS-67 or higher have been auctioned for thousands of dollars, while error pennies with doubling, off-centering, or striking flaws have sold for staggering amounts. One record sale reached $222,675, proving that condition and rarity matter more than anything. Part, the role of coin grading. Every coin collector knows that grading is the key to unlocking a coin's potential. A 1985 Lincoln penny in average condition might be worth only a few cents, but the same coin graded MS-68 red by a professional service can bring thousands at auction. The highest possible grade is mint state 70, but almost number 1985 pennies exist in such flawless condition. Collectors pay incredible premiums for coins close to perfection. Part, the power of error coins. Errors are what turn a common penny into a treasure. For the 1985 cent, double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, and even wrong planchet errors are highly sought after. A simple doubling on Lincoln's eyes, mouth, or lettering can turn a penny into a 4- or 5-figure collectible. Off-center errors where part of the design is missing are even more dramatic, often fetching hundreds or thousands of dollars. Part, the Philadelphia Mint 1985 penny. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 5 billion pennies in 1985, but very few were preserved in gem condition. Most were spent and damaged over time. Today, high-grade Philadelphia pennies are hard to find, and error coins from this mint are especially prized. Collectors search rolls and bags of coins just to find a single example that could be worth hundreds or more. Part, the Denver Mint 1985 penny. The Denver Mint produced nearly 6 billion pennies in 1985, marked with the D. Just like Philadelphia, the majority were spent in everyday circulation, making pristine examples rare. Denver coins are also known for producing certain errors, such as filled mint marks or die breaks. A perfect Denver penny graded MS-68 can bring astonishing prices, sometimes selling for over $10,000. Part, auction records that shocked collectors in the world of coin collecting. Auctions reveal the true power of rarity. A stunning 1985 penny graded MS-68 red once sold for over $10,000. Another penny with a dramatic mint error fetched tens of thousands. But the jaw-dropping record belongs to a rare specimen that sold for more than $222,000, shocking even seasoned collectors. That sale transformed the 1985 penny from pocket change into a dream coin. Part, how to spot valuable 1985 pennies. If you want to know whether your 1985 penny is valuable, start by checking its condition. Bright red, lustrous coins with no scratches are the best candidates. Next, look for doubling in the lettering, date, or Lincoln's features. Check the edges for off-center strikes or misalignments. And always compare your coin under magnification with known error varieties. Even a small difference can mean a massive payday. Part, market demand for 1985 pennies. Coin collectors around the world are constantly searching for high-grade and error varieties of the 1985 penny. Online marketplaces, coin shows, and major auctions regularly feature these coins. Demand remains strong, especially for coins in mint condition, because the supply is extremely limited. As more people discover coin collecting, the value of rare 1985 pennies continues to rise. Part, investment potential of the 1985 penny. The beauty of coin collecting is that something as small as a penny can turn into an incredible investment. The 1985 penny is proof of this. While most are worth very little, the rarest ones are treasures worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Collectors and investors alike see the 1985 cent as a coin with hidden potential, one that rewards careful searching and patience. Part, conclusion and call to action. So, the next time you come across a 1985 Lincoln penny, don't dismiss it as ordinary change. It could be one of the most valuable coins in your collection. From its historic place in the Lincoln Cent series to its record-breaking auction sales, the 1985 penny is a symbol of hidden wealth in everyday objects. And here at RF Coins, we reveal these treasures to you one coin at a time. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with fellow collectors. Who knows, the next penny in your pocket could be worth $222,000 or more. Stay tuned for our next rare coin story, only on RF Coins. Today, we are unlocking the incredible story of the 1989 Lincoln penny. This small copper-plated coin has a history worth telling, and in some rare cases, it can be worth an unbelievable fortune, up to $222,674. Stay with me, because you are about to discover why collectors chase after this coin and how you might already have one sitting in your change jar. Part, setting the scene. The year was 1989. America was closing out the turbulent 1980s, a decade filled with economic growth, cultural changes, and historic events. In Denver, the United States Mint was striking millions of Lincoln cents, carrying forward a design that had already become iconic. These 1989 Lincoln pennies seemed ordinary at first glance, but hidden within their ranks are rare varieties and errors that can transform a single cent into a life-changing treasure. Part, the man behind the coin. Every Lincoln penny tells the story of Abraham Lincoln himself. His portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, has appeared on the obverse of the cent for more than a century. By 1989, this portrait had already passed its 80th year on America's smallest coin. But the reverse, featuring the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, stood proudly, reminding Americans of Lincoln's legacy and the importance of unity. Part, the Denver Mint and the D Mint mark. The 1989 Lincoln penny comes from the Denver Mint, identified by the small D Mint mark beneath the date. The Denver Mint is known for producing high-quality strikes, but even there, mistakes happen. And it is precisely these mistakes, the doubled dies, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, and other rare errors, that elevate the value of this penny far beyond its face value. Part, the change in composition. By 1989, the Lincoln cent had undergone a dramatic transformation in composition. Before 1982, pennies were made primarily of copper, but due to rising copper prices, the mint switched to a zinc core with a thin copper plating. This change gave the coin a different weight and made certain varieties and minting flaws much more noticeable to collectors. That difference in metal content is one reason why 1989 pennies have such an interesting place in U.S. coin history. Part. Mintage numbers. The 1989 D penny was struck in huge numbers, over 5.3 billion pieces. With so many in circulation, you might wonder how a coin so common could ever be rare. The truth is that rarity is not always about how many were made, but about how many have survived in pristine condition, and more importantly, how many carry unusual mint errors or striking varieties that collectors crave. Part. Ordinary value. For most circulated 1989 D pennies, the value remains at face value, 1 cent. Even uncirculated pieces might sell for just a few cents to a few dollars. But once we move into higher mint state grades, especially coins graded MS-67 and above, the value skyrockets. Collectors pay big premiums for coins that remain untouched by circulation, coins that shine just as they did the day they left the Denver Mint. Part. Rare error varieties. Now let's explore the real treasures. Some 1989 D Lincoln cents have been found with dramatic minting errors. Off-center strikes that leave parts of the design missing, double die obverse that show a ghostly second image of Lincoln's features, and even clipped planchets where part of the coin is missing. These are the types of rare mistakes that transform the coin's value. Some of these error pennies have sold for thousands, proving that one man's pocket change can be another man's jackpot. Part. Proof-like strikes and gems. Though not officially proof coins, certain 1989 D cents were struck with unusually sharp details, reflective fields, and eye-catching luster. These proof-like strikes are rare and command high bids at auctions. When combined with pristine condition, the value can climb into the tens of thousands, especially when certified by grading services such as PCGS or NGC. Part. Record auction sales. One of the most shocking facts about the 1989 D penny is its auction history. A perfectly preserved high-grade example with desirable characteristics has fetched an incredible $222,674 at auction. This number proves that even the smallest coin can hold unimaginable value in the right circumstances. It is a reminder that treasure hunting isn't just about gold and silver bars. Sometimes, it's about looking carefully at the pennies in your own pocket. Part. How to identify valuable 1989 D pennies. Collectors should look for several key signs. Start by checking the overall condition. Is the coin shiny, with no scratches or wear? Next, inspect the date and mint mark under magnification. Look for doubling, repunched mint marks, or unusual spacing. Finally, study the edges and alignment for striking errors. A simple magnifying glass could be the difference between a common cent and a coin worth thousands. Part. The role of coin grading. Professional grading is essential in the modern coin market. A 1989 D penny graded MS-60 might be worth a couple of dollars, but the same coin graded MS-67 could be worth hundreds, and if it has errors or rare features, the value explodes into the thousands. Collectors trust grading companies like PCGS, NGC, and ANAX to authenticate and certify these coins, giving them credibility in the market. Part. Collecting Lincoln pennies. The Lincoln cent series is one of the most collected coin series in the world. From the wheat cents of the early 20th century to the memorial design of the later years, and now the shield reverse introduced in 2010, Lincoln pennies form a bridge across generations. The 1989 D penny is a key part of that story, representing the late memorial years and offering collectors a chance to find hidden value in a modern coin. Part. Investment and future value. With rising interest in U.S. coins, the demand for high-grade modern pennies has increased. While billions of 1989 D cents exist, only a fraction will ever grade at the highest levels or display rare varieties. As more collectors enter the hobby, prices for rare examples are expected to continue rising. For investors, this means that searching for and holding on to rare 1989 D pennies could pay off greatly in the future. Part. Closing and call to action. So the next time you empty your pocket change, take a second look at those pennies. That little 1989 D Lincoln cent might be worth more than you ever imagined. From history and design to rare varieties and record sales, this coin reminds us that treasures often hide in plain sight. Here at RF Coins, we uncover those stories and bring the hidden value of everyday money to light. If you enjoyed this journey through the history and market value of the 1989 D. Lincoln penny, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to RF Coins, because your next great discovery could be just one coin away.